we can stop the music. It's 3 p.m. We're going to start soon. We're going to wait a couple more minutes. Let's wait 2 more minutes. So we start this webinar at 2 p.m. GMT. So we give some time for the people who wants to join, who might have difficulties to connect, a little bit more time. Thank you for your patience, everyone. To support you, but we're also here to continue to help create value for your business. We're all adapting to this new normality that is changing on a daily basis almost. And as everyone is working from home, we thought that would be the good moment to start a webinar series of interviews with different key experts. So we all know that sometimes those webinars can be a bit dry and long. So we're going to try to keep it really short, informative, interactive. We're going to ask you questions at some point. So please pay attention. And we're going to share with you some key takeaways. We put this webinar in less than a week. So if we have some technical issue, please bear with us. The idea was really simple. We wanted to spend like 10 minutes with you guys as a kind of a coffee break conversation on brain safety. Today, to talk about brain safety, joining me, I have Sara. Sara is our global director. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Sara, I'm going to start this webinar with a very simple question for you to bring some context. Can you give us kind of a definition of brain safety?
When we talk about brain safety, we are typically referring to those categories of content that are considered as inappropriate or inconvenient by the vast majority of brands. So I'm talking about terrorist content, death, injury content, crime, obscenity, hate speech, those kind of content. And of course, this is different from what we refer to as brand suitability. So when we talk about brand suitability, we are referring to specific type of content that are unsuitable for specific brands because it doesn't fit their values or audiences. For instance, competitors' content or content about a specific public figure or maybe pollution or politics.
Fantastic. So there's brand safety, clear definition. brand suitability varies per brand and their willingness to take certain risk on certain type of content that is not unsafe, but is specific to them.
Their values, yeah.
Got it. Can you tell us more about how you do brand safety at Teads? How do you guarantee brand safety at Teads?
Yeah, so brand safety at Teads is super important in the context of the clean advertising positioning. And at Teads, there are three fundamental elements that we base our brand safety on. So it all starts with premium inventory. So our premium network of publishers. On top of that, we have very strict policies and guidelines. And we have a very reliant and stable technology stack to ensure brand safety.
Fantastic. So you've mentioned premium inventory. What do you mean by premium inventory?
Yes, I mean that essentially everything starts with our publishers. Our publisher management team is like our first line of defense. So they have a human one-to-one relationship with our publishers. They check the content of the publisher manually to allow them to join our network, and they do spot checks to see if the publisher is respecting the strict requirement not to publish content that is unacceptable, but like illegal hate speech. On top of that, we have our Teads tags that are directly integrated into the publisher's page. And we don't buy from third-party SSPs or exchanges. So when we deliver on a certain page, we are sure that this is the page that we deliver on. We know where we're running our ads. Also, it doesn't mention here in this slide, but it's worth noting that our publishers are text-rich, which makes the job of brand safety tech providers much more easy than it is when you are in an environment with lots of images or lots of videos. And this is why we don't need like an army of moderators to ensure that we run on brand safety context, like some of our competitors, like social media platforms.
Makes sense. So just to sum up, human vetting publishers, technology integrated on every publisher page, direct relation with those publishers, no intermediary, no reselling, to better control the environment where ads are running. And because we're working with text-based publishers, it's easier to control. Can you tell us more about the scale of the brand safety challenge?
On our website, we have available to everyone our brand safety policy. So according to this, for all campaigns that we manage directly, the managed campaign, we exclude by default 11 standard brand safety channels, the ones listed here on the slide. And we are adopting the definition of the most reputable third-party brand safety targeting providers, which is also aligned with the 4A's association definition of brand safety. And just to give you an idea of how much content we are already filtering by default because of these brand safety filters, can you guess how many pages in Q4 last year we analyzed to decide if the page was safe or not to deliver an ad on?
Okay, so that's a question for the audience right now. Antonia, if you can show us the question, the poll online. We're going to ask you to tell us from your perception how much content Teads blocked in Q4 last year across the world. Are we talking 250 million page of content that has been, analyzed, 157 billion page of content analyzed, 5 billion page of content analyzed. Q4 last year. Q4 usually is our biggest quarter. Antonella, we're not seeing the poll online at the moment.
I'm relaunching again.
Okay, thank you. We have our colleague Ariel saying 5 billion. Here is the question. I'm not going to give you any help to answer the question. It's just to have a look at your perception. Actually, Ariel did say 5 million. So I'm gonna 5 billion, sorry. So I'm gonna follow Ariel recommendation. Let's see.
Do you want to bring home? Like who wants to be a billionaire?
A friend. Antonella, can you already share with us the results of the poll to see what audience think?
I see that some people are still voting.
Okay, we're going to give them more time, a couple more seconds, and then we're going to tell you everything. Okay, Antonella, let's try again if we can see the perception of the audience on how
I'm sharing the results. Can you see them?
Not yet. Okay, so while you're
so what I see here is that the 52 of the people select the answer number, the third answer.
5 billion. So the majority of the audience thought we were blocking, analyzing 5 billion worth of content. And the answer, Sarah, is
157 billion, as you can see. So imagine that if it was a person reading all that content instead of technology, it would have taken us 300,000 years to read all of that content. And out of all of that, 19% was considered unsafe for the standard categories. And we already taken care of that in a sense that we excluded it for our clients. So our clients don't have to worry about all of these standard categories of brand safety because they are protected by default.
Fantastic. So I think here the key takeaway is you need technology. Without technology, you cannot guarantee a brand safe environment. Humans don't have the capacity to monitor, filter all this content.
Not at scale.
Another question that we usually hear from clients a lot regarding brand safety is around custom keywords. So maybe here a kind of controversial question for you. Do you think custom keywords are necessary?
Yes, I'm sure that everyone who's been reading a bit about brand safety on the specialized publication about advertising has seen some controversial articles about custom keyword block lists, because maybe they overblock. So yeah, at Teads we have different layers of brand safety. We've already mentioned a couple of them. So the premium marketplace, the universally unsafe pre-bid filtering. Pre-bid means essentially at the source of the inventory. We also allow a custom keyword block list for our clients through the Grapeshot technology. And on top of that, we also allow our clients to monitor the delivery with third-party tags. And we have our human campaign monitoring, account managers and stuff. So yes, we do allow custom keyword block list, but we recommend clients to rely heavily on the standard filtering, because those are curated and translated into the different languages and kept up to date by professional teams of linguists and translators. And so the custom keyword block lists don't always have this level of quality standards, which means that sometimes they might cause overblocking. In fact, we've recently reviewed some of these block lists, custom keyword block lists from some of our clients, and we've identified a few challenges. First of all, they contain content that is redundant. They contain keywords or terms that are already covered by the standard filtering. On top of that, some of these terms are not updated because they were associated with bad news in the past, but no longer. Like for instance, Manchester, we saw this keyword in some of the block list. Some terms are just too generic in general, like joint, pot, wet. These words are not negative out of context. And a special mention goes to the generic terms that can also be seen as potentially discriminatory because they single out categories of people like lesbian, homosexual. They block these words as a standalone. So the effect is that the blocklist might block content that is dealing in a perfectly safe and suitable way with topics about these categories of people. And summing up all of this, it means that these block lists are way too long and broad. They contain thousands of words from different and very different distant categories of meaning. So it causes overblocking. And to give you an example, one of the articles that we saw that was blocked by one of the custom block lists, this is it. So it's a recipe from an Ottolenghi's recipe. And the article was being blocked because of the words pot, fat, smoking, and pudding in the article. This article was judged as safe by the standard, but unsafe by the custom keyword block list. So now our recommendation to clients when they request a custom keyword block list is that the block list is reviewed to keep it unique, so only contain terms that are not already covered by the standard. Keep it up to date regularly to review it if some keywords need to be removed because they are no longer considered negative. Keep it specific and fair, essentially short and relevant to negative content only.
Okay, thank you for those recommendations on keyword key list. I think the big elephant in the room at the moment is obviously the coronavirus. What would you recommend brands to do around coronavirus from a brand safety point of view?
Yeah, so for content that deals with coronavirus in conjunction with death, again, we are covered by the standard brand safety. So anything negative in that sense is already covered by the standard. Client don't have to worry. Then, of course, there might be some articles within which coronavirus is just a passing mention, is not the main topic of the article, or maybe the coverage is not about death, but more about the health policies and, for instance, research of vaccines, etc. And those might not be covered by the standard brand safety. So our clients can, if they don't want to appear on that type of content, they will need to go down the custom solution lane. We do allow that, but my personal recommendation is that in general, this type of content can be considered safe by most advertisers. And so yes, it comes down to a custom request, brand suitability.
So that's what you just said for most advertisers. Here today, we invite a lot of clients from the luxury, fashion, beauty, sportswear industries. And my message to them is from the get-go at Teads, we blocked for you guys by default every mention of coronavirus, even if the article, as Sara said, is kind of positive. We still blocked it for you, and we ask our clients if they want to be into corona positive type of content to let us know, but by default we're not doing it. So it's really interesting hearing from you, Sara. This coronavirus, there's brand safety, and there's also kind of a brand positioning point of view here. And as you mentioned, some clients outside of luxury and beauty brand still want to advertise into positive and even negative article around coronavirus. I'm thinking governments, I'm thinking charities are doing it as well. I have another question for you, Sara. Are you the only person at Teads covering brand safety, or who manages brand safety at Teads? Who owns it?
So I like to say, I've got this expression that 100% brand safety is probably just a unicorn that we're all trying to catch. And of course, you need to heavily rely on the technology to get you to the 99%. But it's the human element that gets you to the extra 0.99. So at Teads, the human element is paramount, so much so that brand safety is looked after by top leadership from every different angle. So the operation angle, the technology angle, and the publisher angle. And we also have a task force of brand safety experts so account managers and publisher manager in each of the offices, to ensure that the global guidelines are executed with operational due diligence everywhere, and also that we listen to the needs of the local markets. And more generally, I like to say that brand safety is really a responsibility of every actor in the media buying chain, from the publisher to the technology that is in between, till the brands and the advertisers.
Thank you, Sarah. There's another question that is really kind of even more personal question, in a sense of I'm facing it on a daily basis in my interaction with clients from luxury, beauty, fashion industry. Some brands seems to have different approach regarding brand safety or tolerance to brand safety, depending on different type of environments. By different type of environments, I'm thinking there's lifestyle publisher, there's business, finance, news publisher on the other end, and then there's social environment on the other end. What's your point of view on having different approach for different environments?
It's typical to see some brands that have an approach to brand safety that solely relies on site lists. So they use site lists as a proxy for brand safety. But this is hardly accurate, because even if you look just at lifestyle publishers, you can see that the content, even if it's mainly safe, it can also contain some unsafe or uncategorized parts. So if you don't apply brand safety filter through the right technology, you will still end up delivering on that type of content, even if it's a lifestyle publisher. On the flip side, if you look at the brand safety rate of content on a news publisher, or it could be even a business or finance publisher, you see that most of the content, like 61% on this slide, is safe. So if an advertiser is giving up on news, they also giving up on safe content, where they prevent themselves from reaching out to the right audience in the right context, just because it's a news publisher. But not all news is bad news. A news publisher can contain a lifestyle or culture section within it. News publishers are a little bit like unpolished diamonds. So through the brand safety filter, you make them shine.
Wow, fantastic. I love this analogy. So if you're on lifestyle website, continue to use brand safe technology. If you're on news, there's a great opportunity here to reach the right audience. Again, making sure that you have the right technology. For social, it's really interesting. Social is turning a little bit into the Corona feed at the moment, but even in a different period of time, it's more difficult to control the user-generated content versus professionally produced content. But that's more a question for another webinar on brand safety for social. Right, just to wrap it up very quickly, Sarah, what would be your recommendation for clients on brand safety?
Yeah, so a few takeaways from today's webinar, I guess, would be: keep challenging your media vendors. So keep asking how they ensure brand safety for your advertising activities. Really rely on the technology, but don't forget the human element gets you to the 99.99% brand safe. And if anyone promises you 100% brand safety, challenge them, because it's a myth. Also, not all news is bad news. So don't go for a site list approach. Remember that brand safety is different from brand suitability, and don't double block, meaning that when you have a custom keyword block list, don't block keywords that are already covered by the standard brand safety that is taken care of on our end. And when it comes to custom keyword block list, keep them up to date, specific, short, relevant, and fair.
Fantastic. Sarah, thank you. We tried to be very short on this presentation. Now we can open to question, and we can go more deeper into the brand safety at Teads, how we're using it. Just to remind you, Teads, we're 900 people globally, 150 of our employees are engineers. working on all those different type of technology. I personally believe we have one of the most sophisticated approach in the market on brand safety, but don't hesitate to challenge us. That's the right moment. So we're going to have a look at question. You can ask question on the chat, and our marketing team is going to share it with us. And I'm going to start actually, or you can also open your mic and ask us a question. I'm going to start with one question for Sara. You mentioned double blocking. We've seen that across a lot of different clients. Sometimes when there's not a lot of communication between clients, agency, and media vendor, which reduce scale. What would be your recommendation on who should be responsible, who should use technology to block content that is not safe? Should it be done on the supply side with actors like Teads? Should it be done on the advertiser side through their media agencies, or DSP when they buy programmatically?
Yeah, so for DLADs, for instance, programmatic campaigns, as we state in our policy, we can replicate the same type of filtering pre-bid at the source that we do for managed campaigns. So it's all about communication between the buyer and the seller. And really the filters should be applied only one end, either on the SSP or on the DSP side. And I would recommend that we apply it on our end, so the seller side, because it's free for the client, and also it's at the source. There are no conflict in terms of technology not speaking to each other. So definitely our end.
Any other question from the audience? While we're waiting for question, we're gonna accept maybe 2 or 3 more questions if you guys can think of any question. In the meantime, we have another poll for you guys. If you enjoy this webinar, we're gonna run more over the next few weeks across different topics. Performance advertising, a lot of shops are closing down in this current period. How brands can leverage lower funnel type of strategy to drive quality traffic to their e-commerce websites. What are the challenges, the KPI, the best practices? So that's another webinar we can run for you guys. How to adapt creatives during the current coronavirus context, transforming out of door advertising to digital, which type of message to send at the moment. That's the second one. Third one is data in a cookie-less environment. We've seen a lot of announcements from the major web browsers over the last few months. What's going to be the impact for advertising, for targeting, for analytics? What are the trends? How the industry is responding? What are you going to see in the next 6-8 months? What are the solutions as well? That's another one. We have a fourth one around artificial intelligence, how Teads is using artificial intelligence to improve the results of your campaign. Why is it important for advertisers? What are we working on? So these are our 4 topics we're going to cover over the next few weeks. And we invite you to vote again here to tell us what you would like to see next. So I'm voting as well. We're still open for question for the next minute or so before we close down this webinar. I personally wanted to thank you for joining us on such a short notice. Hey, we have the first result. Ooh, it's quite balanced. 39% of the people voted for performance advertising and 39% for data in a cookie-less environment. Very interesting. We're going to combine all these results with the first session we had in the morning, and we're going to get back to you guys. One thing I forgot to mention, when you ask question, we keep it anonymous because we have here a lot of competing brands as well. We know it's a competitive environment, so we won't say from which brand comes the question. But it seems that we don't have a lot of questions for this session, which is fine with me. Oh, maybe one more here. Let's have a look here. We got a thank you from one of our attendees, which is very nice. Cool. All right. everyone, again, thank you for joining us. I hope, I wish you a great day, great evening, depending on where you are in the world at the moment, and a good weekend. See you soon for the next webinars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.